I'm Wendy Turnbull, and I hope you are enjoying Frew Park YouTube channel.
Again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're standing in front of the great results Daphne Fancutt Amphitheatre and Wendy Turnbull Green proposed pull-up banner. And Wendy's early income-producing career was at the bank. It is a bit of a parallel story. In fact, it's a very parallel story. Tell us the story.
Yeah, well, in a sense, I mean, interesting enough, I first knew Wendy's brother, Harold, and Wendy's comes from a large family. They all played tennis, and Harold was my generation, and Wendy was a bit younger and you know, showed some potential. But anyhow, after I left school, I worked for a year to save some money to travel overseas, worked at what was then called the Commercial Bank of Australia. And interestingly enough, Wendy did likewise. She worked at the Commercial Bank of Australia in an office in the city as well, not the same office as myself. But it was something then that was quite an interesting way of going about it, because I don't know if you recall, but the banks then used to open at 10 a.m. They closed at 3 p.m. And if you did the right thing, you had some time off to go practice. So we both thought that was a pretty good idea. So I remember doing lots of practice pre-work hours. And then if I had done my job properly, the bank manager was pretty decent. If it came 3:30 and you'd balance your till or whatever, he'd let you go. So yeah, Wendy and I both bank workers at one stage when we first left school, just again to find a way of earning some money to be able to pay for our travels overseas. And it was a great opportunity, and I should thank those managers at the banks for giving us the time off to go practice, which was so desperately needed.
And in those days, I mean, most people's first priority wouldn't be to travel, it would be to buy a car.
Yeah, oh, no cars.
Yeah, that's right. So your career path is a very demonstration of your commitment to tennis, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, it's a short career. You know, by the time you're probably 30, your career is just about done. And for most people's lives, that's the beginning of their career. So you've got to be mature. You've got to sacrifice and put your money to furthering your career. And obviously, Wendy came from Sandgate in Brisbane, had a large family, and they didn't have a lot of disposable income. Not many of us did in those days. So, look, in a sense, that was great for us. You learnt the value of money. You knew that you worked hard to get what you wanted. And Wendy was a wonderful competitor. I mean, she was not a particularly tall lady. Nickname was the Rabbit, and meant in the very nicest of terms because she's so quick around the tennis court, and became one of the world's great players. And she used to play, in fact, against my dad in comp in Brisbane Afternoon Social or Brisbane Afternoon Mixed competition, when my dad was obviously a senior player and Wendy was on the way up. And so she came from an era that was a local player in Brisbane to be on the world stage, and just crafted the skills that were necessary over time, based very much on her speed around the court, and what a career she had. And she's very well liked, as you well know, by all of her peers, and they were a wonderful tennis family.
Yes, I'm collecting the petition at the moment, and it's in its third gestation, and the support from the World Women's Tennis Association, they set about and they collected 100 signatures, and the names on there, Greg Norman, Ian Baker Finch, non-tennis players, and then Billie Jean King, and the list just goes on and on and on. And I'm really looking forward to being able to drop up the folder. It's a very professionally produced folder that they've given me with a beautiful letter. And I'm going to be dropping that up probably next week now, the week after Anzac Day 2014, up to the Lord Mayor. And he's already seen the list of names, but I think when he gets it in his hands, he'll be very, very, very impressed, because to me, Frew Park and a green in the middle of that beautiful park, it's only a small part of the park, calling it after a rabbit is just, to me, it just tickles my fancy.
Yeah, right.
And it's just part of the great tennis narrative that all this work is about, and that you're so generously helping with the interviews that you're doing this morning.
Well, it's great, and I think it's just fantastic. As we mentioned, Wendy from Sandgate in Brisbane gets on the world stage, and now we're hearing the names of Billie Jean King and Greg Norman, etc., giving her accolades. And what a great career this tennis has been for all of us, that we've been able to to travel to other countries and become known, I suppose, for her exploits, and Wendy certainly has become known for her exploits all around the world, so congratulations to her.
No worries. Now, it's the second last of the interviews, so if you come back in a couple of minutes' time, we'll talk about a facility in New Farm, which you'll find extraordinarily interesting. Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. My name is Daphne Banker. I hope you are enjoying watching the Frew Park YouTube channel.